Hello, this is Michael from Blue Gem Tarot. Today's episode, Pick a Card reading, is going to be called What Do People Don't Want You to Find Out? This reading will cover secrets, hidden information, things that people would never admit to or say to you in the face. It can be about you, it can be about the situations you're involved with or in. And it's definitely a topic I thought would be of interest to you, and it should be eye-opening for some people. I felt anyway. At least like that was the intention for it. So I hope it brings you some sort of clarity or upper hand in a situation by knowing the details of it or some crucial information. For this reading, we have three perfumes. We have pile number 1 with a round perfume, like it's a bright pink, slightly more pale pink with perfume number 2, and the pile number 3 with Hello Kitty perfume. Take your time, pick your pile. This situation with the reading is going to go along the lines of the general message, general kind of the gist of the situation or what you should know of. I will also tackle some details and I will go into the secret information. I also, of course, added the identification message. So if you don't find yourself resonating with that, with a character description of yours, you find that the reading maybe is not talking about you, maybe that's not your pile or your reading in general, but it has to cover at least something from your life, more or less, that would resonate, and therefore the rest would apply too. So, for the subdivisions, of course, I will cover secrets. I'm thinking about unexpected and plot twist, but I don't know, maybe I will shift things or I will see what's best for each pile and I will switch the subdivisions accordingly. I think I will begin with pile number 1. I sadly didn't have anything to get enraged by in the comment section, and I want to say I think we won't have any venting for today, which I know some of you are quite disappointed to hear that, but it's life, you know. Sometimes you have to enjoy being an enlightened person and not basically react to anything in the comment section because pretty much I just didn't have the time. But I will just consider myself as such and not vent today because I'm a very good person. So thank you so much for that. Um, Perks to you for aiming for that venting category because, yeah, my readings are not just about the information but about me too. So yeah, thanks for appreciating my efforts into being a very humorous and a questionable humor that kind of person. Okay, I'm pretty happy with the result already. So yeah, let's begin with pile number 1. Okay, pile number 1, welcome to your reading. We have the first card, the Initiation in reverse, and 9 of Wands reversed, and Ace of Cups upright. What is very strange, not about you, but in general about this reading, it's what it started with, because I would say this is not necessarily a very dark energy, but I feel like the dark bit is coming from the people somehow. As I was looking at this initiation card, what came to mind was the fact that they don't want to admit generally, and this is, by the way, a lot of people, that they've been feverishly thinking about you. I get the sense that there is just too much thought when it comes to you that is seemingly confused. It feels feverish, and that's in and of itself the reason why it's kind of dark for me, or not even like, let's just say, upsetting, but it feels almost like obsessive to some extent. If there is one strong thing that's going on in here that comes to mind, it's also the fact that people compared themselves a lot to you, and also that a lot of them considered themselves to be a mess in comparison to you. There is a sense of like missing out on something and you having that, or just a very irregular, like chaotic energy that's coming to mind with these first cards. But with this first set of cards, but what is very also particularly interesting, it's the fact that it's no fault of your own that this is happening, and it's like people have their internal battles. What is fascinating in here too, it's the fact that looking at the central card, it's a whole lot of disarray, it's a whole lot of just it's a whole mess that I can perceive. But with all of that, Ace of Cups signifies that there are some like remnants of very also positive intentions and like very good things and thoughts people have towards you. But it's like you, what would make sense in this metaphor, it's as if you are like a magnet that ignites or attracts all of these positive traits, but also because they are so magnetized um, by you, like all this mess, it seems to be being brought to the surface. Okay, so it's like, you know, I just picture a very like a hoarder person who needs or sees a very important piece of furniture in the whole pile and has to basically reach out for it by pulling it out of the surrounding items which get stuck to it. So I get that this is the effect that you have over people, and it's a very also purifying presence that's going to resonate with pile number one. You, I want to say, in your description, you can be a little bit different. I hate this whole story with people being special or something, but just to be clear, I will try to explain it to you. It's a very defined set of qualities that you have, and it makes you stand out. Because of it, it's like people have this fresh, inspiring perspective of themselves. You have two blank cards in here that showed up. I have to take these out of the deck, but I always hesitate to do so. And I feel like this is just reinstating this whole point on the fact that you bring a lot of like blind spots out of the people, or they feel exposed. I also kind of feel like I've met some people who had this effect on me, and it's the type of effect that makes you question yourself, but in like a very constructive ways. So I feel like you make people introspect for some reason. You make them think about themselves, about their decisions, and with this right in here, you're like an awakening of sorts. I feel like people are very deliberate in hiding this information from you because it feels like literally they are a mess. Um, but since we have that card in reverse in here, what is very, very curious about you, it's the fact that it's so deep, like your influence goes so deep in people for some reason, the way in which you affect them, that it actually brings to the surface things that they are not ready to face. They could be ghosting, or they could be ignoring you, they could be avoiding you as well. But also, I feel like you are unavoidable. So it's the more the person runs away from you, the more they think about you. So it's like, don't think about that, and you end up thinking about it anyway. So it's a very stubborn game in here that I sense. And I I think this is also a case where I see a lot of shame in here that's being awoken for some reason, but it's strangely mixed with a lot of gratitude. I don't know how to explain this, but um, when, for example, it's like a person who's carrying, like with the Ten of Wands, a lot of things that they are burdened by, but they don't have a way out to express or to liberate themselves of it. And a situation comes up that would basically make them release that pent up energy. And you're not very grateful when you experience something traumatic and then you cry about it. But in this case, for pile number one, it's like almost like a recognition or a gratitude that they got awakened in this, even though they were very unwilling. This feels like strangely a very enigmatic and paradoxical type of pile, because you have the best intentions in this case, but you're also very real. And because you're very real and authentic, I feel like inevitably people come to this realization that they have to face themselves, or they have to see themselves clearly and with no filters. And that kind of bravery is something that they either envy, or they look at you and say that you are somehow ahead of them. But almost like with this water flowing in here, I'm looking at this element of release and almost like healing, a healing presence. I feel like you push people or you up level them without even realizing it, and it's definitely something that as a whole brings a lot of discomfort to people, but as time passes they understand that it was actually necessary. This also kind of reminds me of situations where, for example, some person thought they are really good at something, and then you showed up and they felt like it was a game over for them, or they felt really behind. That's how it feels generally in life. People feel like they are behind for some reason when they meet you, but when time passes, when things get settled, everything seems to clear up and they feel more on track with who they are. It's just fascinating, perhaps, and also a bit concerning that you truthfully bring a lot of discomfort, but it's like a necessary type of like discomfort. So it's like a disillusionment, like it's a situation where you see a friend, and because you care, you cannot let them blindly go or like find their demise because they feel like, this is the comfortable way. It really is an awakening, and I want to say it's almost like a very passive, like a very imprinting like awakening that's being linked to your presence, because I don't see you doing things in here. I feel like the effect of yours, it's like on a very emotional, very personal level that's arising out of exposure from your presence. And I feel like people feel very raw, very almost like unprotected or unable to hide away because of entering contact with you, which is very, very nice in a way. I hope it's like a positive way, because I feel like this is the case. I feel like you are just showing up in ways that people makes people feel like they have to almost like up level or go into another lifestyle or situation. I don't know how to explain this. You make them face their discomfort and therefore enter a different or choose another variable, choose another lifestyle or another. You just show up and people think to themselves like, this is not normal. I should solve that. I should definitely fix that in my life. So it's a very almost like pushing to be responsible type of energy when it comes to people not wanting to admit. And you seem to reach into people's soul quite deeply in this case. Very soulful as well. For me, it's like a very interesting mix of raw realness and also like a necessary, a very healthy and necessary quality of being direct and upfront and clear with oneself and with others, and also like a very risky, almost like risky, because a risky person, because people don't want to admit anything. People would rather just sit there and just choose ignorance. That's how it feels. Also, why do I find this to be strangely familiar. Um, you have to identify with some sort of like activity, way of being, lifestyle. It has to be something like this that makes you feel like going into people's not thoughts, but I don't know, just affecting them on a very deep level. What I saw in here too, which was curious for me and perhaps for you too, it's the fact that there is just this very strong yearning that is being present into your reading. For some of you, it could be a yearning that is going to be directed at you. For others of you, also, it will be about something that you represent. It's like a thirst for life that's being awoken in here. I don't feel like this is a reading that covers a very specific situation, or it was actually entirely about facing like a grand effect that you have over people, but people don't want you to ever know the ways in which they find themselves to be lacking. There definitely has to be some sort of way, shape, or form in which they found themselves reflected by you, or something that makes them feel like they are not enough. And that is a very uncomfortable realization, but also it bears the actual potential for expansion or a new beginning, which I see in here being represented by dropping the mask, dropping a previous lifestyle that they were very fond of or thought that it is the truth. But um, people can switch from like a more mental standpoint, logical lifestyle, like to a more heart-based, emotional way of doing things, a more soulful approach. And they could do that because they feel like they are inspired by your presence, or merely because they saw the results of that being reflected into your life. So very impactful as usual, and profoundly like snatching people from the depths of the abyss, even if people don't necessarily think of themselves like this or see themselves there. It's like you can awaken them, and it feels like it's no point of return type of situation, because as I'm looking at this card in here, it's like they don't even know that they are living in some sort of hell, and when you show up, it's like a very uncomfortable, irreversible realization that it actually was so. From the secret bit, I want to say, um, well, first of all, first to tie in really well, I want to say you're like a person who's not very social, in the sense that maybe this is not like your affinity whatsoever, but it feels like it's almost like a selective social lifestyle, or something that's like along the lines I show up exactly when I'm required, but I just don't see very like false or light interactions or meaningful interactions at first. Um, I see and hear a lot of quality. I see you being discerning with the people that you interact with, come in contact with too. And what I also find it to be quite striking is the fact that you could be a loner, but you're not necessarily choosing that. It's people choosing not to come in contact with you because they feel like they are exposed. So whatever is going on in here, I feel like people find themselves in very, very raw, very vulnerable states, and you happen to shine a very bright light, like sometimes too bright, that it makes people feel like they are going to be, like their cover is going to be blown. And for you, it doesn't have to be like a big deal, you know? It's like, I don't feel like you are necessarily like, for you, it's not a big deal to be very honest with yourself. For others, it is a big deal. For others, some people in your proximity, not only they deliberately hide away things from themselves, or they live lifestyles that they would rather not, I see people closing their eyes in a very, very conscious way and for some very long time. And for them having the experience of you into their life, it feels really threatening. It feels really uncomfortable. It feels like this person is out to get me and my secrets. And it doesn't have to be like this. I want to say you have a very strong point for being respected, loved, and appreciated, even if it is from a distance. I want to say the dignity in which I see this person watching, I mean, you watching, because I don't like talking about this in such a way, but the sheer dignity and like noble stance or attitude that you carry with yourself, it makes even the actual, like, let's just say, not so very good people forcibly kind of bow to your presence um because of that realness. I feel like, again, for some reason, some information line or um ramification in here is going to most likely, it's saying that you are underestimating or overlooking that aspect of yours. It could be something that you're so used to that you no longer register. But I want to say it's really powerful, because even like the people who are like, let's just say, ignorant, or as I said, kind of bad, or deliberately, it makes me really say evil. It may be a little bit far off, but even these people find that they have, or they bear a very powerful, like very deep-seated sense of respect, and I don't want to mess with them type of energy when it comes to you. But like the whole secret thing that I read in here, it's like this person, I don't consent to like having my secrets, or I don't consent to having my secret information exposed by them, and I would rather just hide away. And what's underneath that, I don't even want to really refer to that as being a secret, but having in this category the five of coins and the four of coins, which is being covered by the six of wands, this is making me feel like people really have some very strong issues with self-esteem, not you necessarily, but, and it all seems to be covered by this whole, like, it's really it's like an eclipsed situation by their ego, or a compensation of sorts, where they make it, let's just say, this pain makes them cover all of this. And secrets is like, I don't want you to see how vulnerable I am. What I find to be unexpected from this category about your reading is the fact that for some great majority of people who came in contact with this lifestyle that they accepted, it feels bitter. If anything, it feels really bitter in comparison to having the experience with you. And you'd be surprised who these people are, because I feel like these are marginally some very bitter people, some very also ironic, sarcastic, let's just say ill-mannered, not ill-mannered, ill-intentioned, or like some very like strange gray area people who are having like lots of new insights brought to them because of you. There is this whole idea with some sort of rebalancing or realignment that has to be made, because they reinvented, or they want to reinvent themselves. What I also see in here is like a very gentle reshaping. So yeah, definitely a very indirect influence that you have over people, and one that people don't want to admit it actually changes them. But you know the gist of that, like that theory where you are the sum of people you most interact with. So it can be that there is like a slow burn process in here that's making people change the variable, making them change themselves, the way in which they thought of the world, and the ways in which they take action. in the world too, but I don't have I don't have very spicy information in here to channel from The Secret, or let's just say Unexpected is much more interesting. But from The Secret, I wouldn't say it's a secret. It's actually like, let's just make it stay a secret because it doesn't feel like it's very honorable, or it's not that interesting. But what's interesting is the change of the temperature that happens when you happen to show up. So I think that's kind of it, pile number one. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If it did resonate, please drop a comment saying how it resonated. Make sure to subscribe, like the video. Also, if you want to donate, you'll have the links in the comment section and the description section. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out the other videos on the channel too. Maybe you'll find there something interesting or something that will suit your interests. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope to hear from you in the future readings. Take care. Okay, pile number two, welcome to your reading. Starting from the central card in here, we have Strangely Soul Family. With calling your tribe, you don't have to do it alone. Basically, I was trying to read upside down. Okay. What is strange in here is the fact that it's a very, very specific message. I feel like the first word that came to mind when I saw your card was longing. Um, Take this how this resonates, but I feel like if you're looking for belonging, or it's a very strong tie towards belonging, it can be a very particular person in here that seeks belonging with you and for some reason feels like there is an obstacle that's preventing that, but I feel like there is just a very immense desire to connect with you. Having this card in reverse, also it's like a twin situation where you can find people having like, or that person having a lot of things in common with you, and it's something that they don't want you to overlook, or they don't want to overlook, or they don't want this situation to just pass by or something like this. However, also, because this is in reverse, I just want to say yearning, longing, and missing you is something that's strongly coming to mind with this pile, and a very strong sense of similarity. What is strange in here is the fact that this message landed in the category or domain of what people don't want you to find out. So this information feels like it was a secret prior to this reading, perhaps, but it's like in and of itself, perhaps either this is the obstacle, or it can be the fact that they don't want you to know how much they find you to be similar to them, how much people want to feel belonging with you, and how much they crave your presence. It can be literally about one singular person in here that this message is like referring to, in a way that you must have one person who's avoiding maybe you, or who doesn't truly show the whole extent of how much they feel towards you. Okay, I tried completing adding on more cards to the situation so that it maybe expanded the message. Yeah, we have the star in reverse. I feel like this is like a no compromise situation. Um, Someone in here saw such importance being invested or being reflected in you that they got overwhelmed. It's like, I'm gonna deal with this later, but not too far off in time, because losing you feels like it's like total despair. This is definitely a romantic interest. If you're not interested in that, maybe this is not your message. Maybe it is a person you don't know of, but I feel like you have to know. You have to more or less know who that is, or at least from the traits of it, it's really not that hard to spot who that is, because having this star in reverse, this is like marginally a very depressive, because the star in reverse talks about despair and losing hope. um, so it's like there is no compromise, there are no there is no literal compromise when it comes to you. Like that's how it feels to me, this energy. And with this Two of Swords, it's like a no. It's like no way I'm gonna let this person slip away. In general, I want to say that your energy comes off as really being very sweet to people and a bit addictive. Okay. This feels marginally like too good to be true when it comes to the interactions with you also. It's like people get used to you very often and they don't want to admit how used they got to you, and therefore they don't want to lose you. I feel like there is just a lot of attachment in here as well that's being covered from these cards, and a realization that people want to quickly expand things with you. I want to say you can come off as like, as a description of sorts, you could be a very, it can be like a social butterfly type of person, not a very active one. However, from the other end, the people can come off really strongly to want or to show up or to show the willingness to connect to you. And I feel like you are very sweet. You could have like really calming like routines or very calming hobbies. You can be a generally very calm and gentle person. And also that's something that people draw. It could be with Star in Reverse that people can feel like at times their willingness to be here is being like brought back to them because of you, or it feels like you heal people. Your energy could be quite healing, so you can make people refreshed, rejuvenated somehow because of your presence. So it's like people feel like, in general, an image that I see with this pile is people feel like they are discarded for some reason in their life, and when you come about, it's like this adoption in here that's taking place on like some metaphorical level, because you find everyone to be interested in some sort of way. You find almost like people in very like bad shapes, and you reinvent them somehow, like you awaken them in a different vision, in a different version, and you see them as in ways in which they didn't even dream of seeing themselves. So that's something that's like a very strong, like very powerful secret in here. I don't want them to know how much they mean to me, or how strongly I feel towards them because of that gratitude that got awakened. I don't know which one is the case. But also this like very strange behavior that's showing up with the Two of Swords, where the more the person loves, the more difficult for them it becomes to express that. So what you are most likely prone to head into, it's the situation where you don't actually understand. The person is actually very happy to be around you, but almost like runs away or is very distant at times, and you can find it to be like very strange or with mixed messages almost. The amount of attraction in here and the amount of feeling snuggled almost like by your presence or something like this is just too much to admit to. It's like the people are not used to that kind of like affection or empathy, and they're not ready for it. Even though they are, that's like the whole paradox in here. You can find people to be very avoidant for some reason, and you have very very good and sweet compliments waiting for you, but all these like are demanding some sort of higher maturity of people, and they don't find themselves having it. So yeah, it's like a very, you'll feel it in the air, by the way. You'll find people gravitating towards you like, bees to honey or something like this. And you are very gentle. You are a very gentle person. I feel like the hues in here, or the colors represented for this pile representative of these pile are going to this pile is going to be pink, light pink, gentle, like very bright colors, almost like very pinkish, very um, light in. You got the idea, you got the gist. And when it comes to the other people around you, it makes me feel like it's the complete opposite. You bring color to people's lives, so that's something that also is very telling of pile number 2. And also with the star in reverse, it's like you bring meaning, or you bring some sort of rejuvenation, you bring some sort of newfound hope or newfound direction. Yeah, very, very strong, very fascinating influence, and it's very unexpected. So people maybe you're not like necessarily having like, I mean, I don't know who's watching this, but it doesn't have to be that you are like a psychologist, but you have the effect on one. If you are like a psychologist watching this, then you're really good, doing a great job, almost to the point where it feels revealing, okay? Revealing in the sense that people find themselves progressing in the idea of what they want to achieve in a very easy and fast way. I also caught in here very protective energy. I don't know, but this is just strangely reminding me of like people having like no strong emotional intelligence, or are not finding themselves able to express a lot of emotion. However, when it comes to the protection, being protective over you, they will show up pretty quickly. Like you can expect this person or these people in general to be very protective over you, and you wouldn't even expect it. And also, quite strangely, this is like a story where uh, it really weighs on my heart, really. It's like a whole gap of affection in here. Like, I see you, I see these people, I see them not wanting to show affection quite as much, but showing it in various, like, indirect ways. So it's like a person not really expressing how they feel towards you, but then um, showing up or hanging out in the same spaces that you are. And this whole almost like frigid or afraid, feeling afraid to feel. And you're very warm. I want to say pile number 2 feels really radiant, feels like a sun, feels really warm, feels not like aggressive, like sunlight situation, but it's like a very warm breeze in a very, let's just say, cold weather. And also, what is very striking about this pile too is the fact that you almost have this energy, or yeah, energy of sheltering people. I would say that you are actually very and quite like socially active, in the sense, in the connection part. I wouldn't say that this is pertaining to the initiation of that connection, but you draw a lot of people in, and very honorable people, I want to say. It's like these are not the people that you would like find to be, let's just say, abusive, or these are very also attuned, also very refined people, or very similar to your energy as well, and some of them are actually very complimentary to you. And this is also the story where people want to both preserve their image and also have this appreciation or friendship uh, being preserved at the same time. It's like a very like juggling two responsibilities at the same time. While I want to also say a very strong accent um, on the fact that they are not indifferent towards you. By the way, if you have people in here, you're wondering if you are alone, if you are like, you have people in here who are very loving towards you, but it wouldn't seem so from the action, or it's not very apparent, it's not very direct. I don't understand, like genuinely confused with your reading, why the center of the attention, it's not even the issue with the center of the attention. You would expect that the person having the center of the attention in the reading, you'd expect that they would have the actual attention and the benefits of that, but in this case it's like a whole avoidance situation that's very strangely weighing on me, okay, in this reading. And we have that very it's not frigid. I don't know how, I forgot what word is for this situation, but what word is appropriate for this, but it's like when the person is actually very, very attracted or very interested in the connection, but at the same time they're very distant or very flaky, like evasive. Yeah. I found it quite funny because you have the sleeper card with cause and effect clarity, followed by the waker card, which is literally the exact opposite as you'll see in the image, plus the patron. Don't get me wrong, I feel like you are very highly sought after or very useful in a way, or not even like the demand in here, not even usefulness. This is more than that, but I didn't find the word. This is making me feel like you are generally holding a lot of value, so much value with the patron in here that it actually flows into full trust, full like relinquishing like their ownership of sorts. I don't know what this is, but I just see it with sleeper in here, and with waker it's like the before and after. This is giving me the energy of the person choosing you, but not making it so that it's very apparent or yet public. And with patron in here, it's like full trust, full openness, full openness or full transparency. That's at least the intention in here, and it's like a secret. It's a whole. It's like the feelings of people in here, I want to say, are like in a box, and this whole secret I just said, or this whole information, is like the actual insides of the box. Okay, you have also devil in reverse. At times it feels like your energy is so addictive that people just want to back away, but the moment that they do back away, it feels like they are craving you again. This is not a bad thing. I want to say it's just that people find themselves to be or having their cup filled as a result of interacting with you. And also, very strongly, it's coming through. You are being chosen by a person, you are being chosen by some sort of love interest, if that resonates. It's like, regardless of the situation, the actual person in here is going full speed ahead when it comes to you, and to such an extent that they just don't see, like as I said with a star in reverse, they don't see any compromise, they don't see any, there is no excuse, there is no I don't accept any other answer than like a yes. That's how strongly this feels. And it's all like, why is this a secret? I just don't know. Maybe it's this like emotional immaturity that I see, but it's stronger and stronger dimensions of appreciation, love, and a whole great deal of wanting to be around you and wanting to be close to you. Okay, like that's the that's the secret. That's the things that you don't know. Actually, it's like a very strange mix of energies, each bringing its own contribution to the overall message of appreciation. Okay, what I also love about this, and since this is the last category, you have people in here, or this particular person with a sense of very strong hidden openness that's waiting for you, because having this seven of swords in here, it's like that moment when a person wants to fully open up, or at least like that's what I see in the plans. I just feel like somebody in here craves that openness where they can just say whatever is on their mind, with no like restraint, or somebody wanting to trust you so much that they don't have any other thoughts to, or any other things. Twice we have the the Queen of Swords in here, like no thoughts, no information hidden away from you, everything being in plain sight, and sharing that full trust, like having that life lived in a way where there are no hidden things, there are no hidden agendas or some things like that. Strangely, I also saw the Ten of Cups in reverse, so it could come in delayed ways. So I feel like this is not going to be the story where all of the information in here is going to be revealed to you at once. However, what truthfully I want to add to this whole message is the fact that you will discover slowly in stages, in small increments, that there are people in here who will show you that affection. It will be apparent. It's going to be apparent in some sort of way, sooner or later. And for you, this reading is going to be like a sort of a map or like a confirmation of sorts. Like, yeah, I did hear about this at some point, but there is no mistaking like the energies I saw in here. The core message, it's about a very deep love, it's about a very deep appreciation, and I don't feel like this is going to be about everyone, but that singular person's story is definitely applicable for you. Um, if this was not about a particular person, in general, this message would apply generally to the surrounding people. Maybe not to the extent where they are open to share everything, but in general, you are being seen like, or you are being associated with very good or very sweet emotions and very sweet things. Your name is being mixed with. So a very good and pleasant reputation, one that makes people really want to open up to you and have you in like their close grasp, so to speak. Yeah. So that's kind of it, pile number 2. I hope it resonated. If it did resonate, please don't forget to comment below how this resonated. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, check out the other videos on the channel too, and if you want, you can donate. The links are going to be in the comment section and the description section. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to hear from you in the future readings. Take care. Hello, pile number 3. What I want to say about this one, it's also just as sneaky as another pile I just read. What I see in here is a lot of trust in you. With Keepers of the Earth, this is a message about people wanting to entrust you with something or trusting you in general, but it's as if it's not happening because they don't want to feel very direct about this. In any case, what I sense from these 3 cards, the central one and from the sides, this is a very sneaky admiration slash trust, because the energy of pile number 3 is going to be about trusting you. You have Keepers of the Earth, you're not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. I don't like interpreting from the books, so I usually have my own spin on things, but this is just generally a concealed secret desire to be an ally. But because we have this 10 of Cups and this King of Swords in here, this is giving me an energy of maybe not right now or maybe later. Or let's just not make it too apparent. But funnily enough, from this image of the 10 of Cups, I see either it's a person or a group in here who generally really, really likes you. To such an extent they like you that, you know, it's actually, if they were to express it openly, it would be a little bit suspicious, so they would rather keep it to themselves. Just like another pile number 3 has the energy of a person having these feelings as well, and it's very steady, not very visible, like concealed sense of admiration and affinity towards you, especially with this Keeper of the Earth energy. This is like a a story where the person really wants to be best friends with you or something like this, but with the Ten of Cups in reverse, they don't want to make it too apparent. There is also some sort of concealed compliments or ways in which people care about you that they don't want you to find out. Maybe it's also because people feel like this would look strange, or because people are not very accustomed or used to the uh, displays of affection or something like this. But it's very seemingly also kind of funny because looking at the cards, you not only like deserve this on a very deep level, but it's very it's like people feel drawn to do that, even though you might be dealing with people who generally are not very affectionate. You have in here people's favor that is very it feels natural. It feels natural to have you like being a target for their appreciation. It's like a very strong pull in here that I can register. And with this Ten of Cups flipped, this is giving me the energy of, this is just very weird. People feel like they are a little bit, maybe this is more about this one person, but I feel like the feelings in here are very uncomfortable to some extent. It's like too much sweetness and you want to dilute it. With Ten of Cups, it's like also there is some sort of hunger in here for connection or some kind of getting to know you better, but it's just so overwhelming but also very natural. So it's just giving me sweetness overload for some reason, but it's just like too much, like when the person feels too much excitement and their whole system gets kind of overwhelmed because of it. So what you can expect, it's with this King of Swords behaviors that your intuition really tells you that the person or the people in here care for you, but they are very almost like avoidant or very almost like giving off indifference, even though it's weirdly masked. I seen here also a very distinct presence where the person wanted to open up to you in a very like deep and profound way, almost as if that person never even opened up like this, like to the closest of the closest people, and they want to have that with you. But it feels like there is something in here that's impeding this connection, even though all the ingredients are there. It's as if like there is no mixing of those. So I just see, it's just fascinating for some reason because I see a pull in here, magnetism that's happening, and people don't want you to know how much they feel like this affects them. And also like you can either take it from the people's perspective or your individual person's perspective, but there is love in there, there is affection, there is everything in there, but there is just this hesitation or just lack of action, or from their standpoint it could be like some sort of delay. The reading seems to gravitate towards like a situation where you can be seen as something brand new or very inspirational in some person's life. Also, the discrepancy in here lies in the fact that this could be we have this energy while at the same time the Hermit and the King of Swords in here, the Tower. You can find that people, logically you'd think that people crave love or they want love, and this is something that they can go for if they can find it. But in your case, it's like people feel very strangely awakened in this sense of love, and it feels alien, it feels really strange, it feels really like something to avoid for some reason. And it really takes a lot of time for this whole dynamic to dissolve, but what I feel is the case or the situation, the confusion that arises for pile number three, it's the more almost like the more you love, the more people kind of avoid you. So that's like general frustration that carries, or like it's like an identification message for pile number 3. I keep on also hearing like loss of words at the loss of words, something like this. You see, there is a great pattern in here followed by people in your case where some individuals are very concerned with their composure to the extent that they want to control everything, and it's almost as if we have a softening that's being accompanied by your appearance into their life, and this softening seems to be destabilizing their composure. And there is like a lot of effort and resource being invested in that composure, while also there is this craving and desire for trust in you and for your companionship. And I feel like these two really create this very chaotic uh, lack of balance in this case, where the person feels dissatisfied in both extremities. Either they want closeness with you, but they lose composure, or they want composure, but they feel distant when they are composed and they crave you. So, overall, I want to say it's very sweet and powerful pull towards you, while at the same time very scared of the consequences or uh, or or, or about what's about to unfold as a result of it. But you know, with the Keepers of the Earth, this is giving me a feeling as though the person really wished that a person like you would show up into their life. Group wise, also, it's like you're almost like an answer to a situation or to life circumstance that they were struggling with, and they wanted the person to complete or to fulfill that need, almost as if these people were wishing collectively for you, and you showed up. But what I seen here also, like the moment you did show up, it's like people were somehow not ready for it. Strangely, this also kind of really well relates to the other two piles, but this chaos, this uncertainty, this general frustration with blockages and things in their life that they are really afraid to bring to the surface, or for you to have the knowing that they are struggling. Like this is something that truly bothers them and they want to fix. Um, this is like also wanting to be in the light, but not wanting to feel exposed. So that's like a paradox. In general, this whole pile is for some reason really difficult for me to read, but the sheer like chaos in here that's unleashed for some reason. The only stable element in this whole reading, for some strange reason, I feel like it's actually you. Because with this central card, it's as if you stabilize, or you have the people in your life that they feel as though have someone to rely on. There is a lot of like reliance, or like a feeling of a checkpoint that's linked to pile number 3. I feel like, genuinely, for some people, you're like a point of safety and security, whereas the behavior of the people in here is actually quite unstable, unpredictable at times, and very like it's a very push and pull dynamic. This is also what came through was a seemingly strange tendency to have you close, but at the same time a desire to constantly change and to up level, and to, like, very similar to another pile, like a lot of comparison thinking and wanting to change so that they can actually match you. Okay, so, and also like a feeling of unworthiness that came through was linked to this dynamic that people have. It's like people see or perceive you or have these assumptions of you that put you into a comparison mode with them, and they make it seem that they are like behind in life because they compare themselves to you, and they seem to be really devaluing themselves. And I also do want to say that for some people, you're like this missing piece into their puzzle piece into their life. I find that the Ten of Cups in here is twice in the reading. And what I also sense is like a seeming impossibility to have both you and this somehow like wish fulfillment. I just want to say it's like when people look at you, they say stuff along the lines of, that would be a person I would end up with. That would be the person I want to build something with. It's generally a very strange admiration that's not voiced, and that would be for some it's as if like the person thinks that it would be a little bit inappropriate or too early, or it's like, how can you say that the moment you first see the person? Like, that's impossible. You cannot really say such things to that person, but intuitively, on a very deep level, I do actually sense that people feel like this trust that's emanating from you, and people find it really uncomfortable that you bring those up. It's like, the before and after similarly enough to another pile, but it's as if I have this very uncomfortable feeling that you exist to emanate some feelings and some concepts, some like essence that you do emanate, and people just genuinely feel like, and what now? Like, I've been shown this type of behavior, this type of care, and what? The person is now going to walk away, or nothing is going to unfold, or worst of all, they're going to find out about the insecurities and the internal battles that I do have, and they will simply vanish. Like, that's the scary, like, secret bit. They are very afraid that, on top of the self worth issues that they are going through, you're going to be the person to either reject them or quietly just walk out of the room, like something like this. And it will never, like, the addiction in here for you is never going to be satiated, and they're going to just spiral. Like, a lot of negative scenarios, a lot of, like, I just see a situation where you've taken the stage, the person was really impressed, and all that was like left, all that person was left with was a very strong feeling of dissatisfaction in life, with themselves, with how things went. Like, that's how I can say it. From the category of the unexpected, I want to say there is like a strong resurging pattern or energy that's being linked to you as well, because you have in this category the Muse, the Hermit, and the Tower. I feel like the pattern or the cycle in here goes something along the lines of this. The person could be feeling things, or people in general could be feeling things for you. Then they can go into, like, this is the plateau where the, like, really happy feeling, excitement moment. Then it could be the Tower, and then the Hermit. So, and all of this all over again. It's like people feel like they're taking on the actual trigger, digesting it through time, and then coming back to you. Um, it feels like people are addicted to you too as well, and I feel like there is just this one person that just like pulled, like sticky pulled towards you, like really, and they don't want ever you to find out that they are this addicted to you. It's like you really challenge their independence, their, it's like you have in here people who think that they don't need anyone, or they are better off without anyone else, and they feel like, that's like life. I was never meant to be with anyone but me, and I will just be happy but alone, or nobody deserves my love, something like this, and the radical change starts to happen when you show up and the person is like hypnotized or something. It's also pile number 3 seems to be like a plan disruptor, or I just see a lot of people having some sort of plans, or they have a trajectory in life, and then you show up, and I feel like there are upgrades similar to another pile as well. The piles in this reading are very similar for some reason, but um, this up leveling, or I wished for something, but now you showed up and I want something more. This could be relevant to the people where, some person decided that they will settle for this job, for example, or for material success, and then you showed up and they wanted to actually expand on emotional depth and also the material success and material or money, while also it being the first of all, like having the feelings made them want to make more money. It's like to support you, something like this. So it's like a completion of sorts that's happening. I feel like the plans, or there is just a lot of dry plans or um, goals or milestones that have been set. And what is also kind of amusing to me in this reading is the fact that you, just like like the other two piles, you awakened this with the muse desire to live, like a desire to retrace, reinvent, recreate, and make my life fresh again, and not like very robotic. It feels like everything that led up to this point, or to the point where actually they met you, life felt really dry, also very predictable, also very normal, very regular, like boring regular, almost depressive, like functionally depressive, like that's how it felt. And with your appearance into their life, your presence, like you're not invasive, or you're not demanding attention in a way that's like abusive or something. um, the person or the group in here really felt drawn to you because it was the natural next step, like it was the actual natural ascension step or up leveling of sorts, and you became this point of progression from like that point on. So that's kind of it. To be quite fair with you, I just wanted to say that for this reading I was very I was kind of struggling to decipher and dissect the messages, but I just see in here like the reason why maybe this is the case is because there is just a lot of conflicted energy for pile number 3. Again, not from you, but from the person or the people in here, because there is just a lot of monologue in here, a lot of like monologues in general, a lot of rehearsed scenarios, also thinking through things, replaying a situation over and over. And I feel like the most stable, again, the most stable of all things or element that was in this reading was actually you. And the chances are, with Keepers again of the Earth, you could be exactly the person to be able to heal or to bring that stability, to bring that softness that would make that person really have this mental clarity of sorts that they really crave. So yeah, that's kind of it, pile number 3. That was a very also defined reading, and it definitely contained, just like pile number 2, a very powerful message about a person. It's like the whole message was centered around the struggle of this person, and how this like correlates to you. So I hope this resonated. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out the other videos on the channel too. Like, comment below. Also subscribe if you resonate with my content. Hope you like also what I will upload next. And for donations, you'll find the links in the comment section and the description section. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to hear from you in the future readings. Take care.